know I've teased you about this for quite a while, but the prototype gun I've been testing will be announced soon, and I have a prototype gun in my possession. Well, it's mine to keep, that I've been shooting a fair bit, and thought I'd talk through it a little bit and share what I can and probably some stuff I'm not supposed to, but I'll try to behave myself. I'll be a little bit careful what I have to say. So the gun will be announced the end of December, and I got asked to go to SHOT Show with the manufacturer, which, I'll be real, I've never been to Las Vegas before in my life, and the fact that it's in Las Vegas makes me a lot less interested in going. However, I have a lot of industry friends that will be there, or that I've played video games with, DM'd, had phone calls with, and haven't met in person. So that will be fun to see, meet some new people, and there'll be a lot of familiar faces there of people I know. So at least I'll have a good time seeing friends, meeting people and that kind of stuff. So I agreed to go, but the stipulation was I don't want to be chained to a booth all day long, because I want to, be able to adventure, see the other manufacturers, hang out with my friends, that kind of stuff. So I'll probably end up just posting like a time frame where I'm going to be there, or a window between this and this kind of hour, just in case you want to be there when I'm there at the booth. You'll know where the booth's at and where I'm at, in case you want to do that. If not, no worries either way, but I just don't want to be chained to that booth the whole time. I want to be free to roam around a bit. So that seemed like a smartest kind of agreement for both sides. So that's what's going on. So I'll be at SHOT Show this coming year. I want to talk through the process of kind of testing the gun. It's been about maybe a year or a little bit more that I've shot the gun, well over 10,000 rounds at this point, between different prototypes and stages and stuff. And it's been fun because I've had some stuff to say along the processes. For example, well, I'll use my M&P here because this one's safe to use on camera. Some stuff around like the grip, the way the grip's contoured. It's a little bit modular in the way that there's some abilities to customize it to fit your hand, and textures. You're gonna love I'm sharing all this stuff. There is, well, all right, so originally the way the frame was shaped, in my opinion, it was a no-go. So up along the top, by like the top of the beaver tail, I had to grip the pistol really, really carefully to make sure I wasn't going to get hit by the slide when it recoiled. So I had a lot of conversations about that. It was really cool because they ended up making a drastic change. There was a couple different kind of 3D printed ones first, where it's like, hey, I pointed out the problem, showed how it'd be an issue. They had some proof of concepts for 3D printed frames, like, hey, what do you think about this one? What about this? Thumbs do this part does this, kind of thing, which was very flattering. I just kind of walk up and just talk crazy about this pistol that somebody's putting their whole life into, and then I just roll up, shoot it a little bit, and talk nonsense. But it was very kind that they were willing to listen to what I had to say, and the frame especially, some noticeable changes, just the way it's contoured. And I really like the way the gun fits the hand now. I think that's turned out really, really well. Normally the way it's worked over the last year or so is I would just get contacted. I'd get like a text from my friend just saying when they had something new they wanted me to try, or a change, or something they were thinking about, and I'd get to just show up, shoot unlimited ammo, just kind of playing with the variables and getting just to offer my 2 cents on how I think the gun should be set up. Obviously, they're not required to take my advice, and I'm sure there's some other shooters that they've had also, or local people to them, but it was very flattering that they're interested in what I had to say, and I kind of get to play a part somewhat in how the gun's set up. Like I said, some stuff I had a lot to say, some stuff that's the way it is, or that's the way they want it to be. So it's not like I built the pistol myself, but it is cool getting to weigh in a little bit. Topics that we got to weigh in, or that I had a lot of stuff to say about, for example, is recoil springs. So just talking about it on a broad scale, most people don't want to replace the recoil spring every 5,000 rounds or 2,000 rounds or 10,000 rounds. Most people just buy the gun, and for the general consumer, they're never going to want to they're never going to shoot it enough to need to change the recoil spring, or competitive shooters shoot the guns a bunch, then think about it at the end of the year. So conversations such as, if the weight's 10 pounds or less, it's going to wear out faster. It's going to need to be, more of a maintenance interval. Most people aren't going to do that. So just stuff like that. Big picture stuff, and then I'd go out and shoot 12, 14, 16, 18. Shoot that exact pistol, shoot 100 rounds through it or whatever I'm satisfied. Pairs, rapid fire, slow fire, reactive shooting, bill drills, whatever. Then when I'm ready to change the recoil spring, change it to a different one, or my friend would just change it for me. Yeah, put that one in, change the recoil spring, get it back while I'm jamming mags, shoot that one, and then just kind of going back and forth to form an opinion and trying to pay attention to. Sometimes I would just be burning magazines of expensive ammo into the berm, but watching how the gun extracts or ejects, what's the pattern like, noticing the extraction change with this, a little bit of a weaponized autism, so it's kind of fun to nerd out on some of that stuff. So what conditions did what, and kind of cause and effect stuff. Like I said, the frame beaver tail I had a lot of say-so on. Some of the modularity stuff I got to weigh in my 2 cents on. For example, there was one day, for whatever reason, I was just curious how much I could shoot it without it needed to be cleaned or lubricated. So I show up the day, I've got 2 lubricated prototype pistols, and I just shot it until it got to the point where it was getting sluggish or I thought lube needed to be added. Just keep loading magazines. I used one of those little magneto fans to cool it down a little bit because it was a summer day. And otherwise, just kept blasting on it just to see where's failure at. It's like, oh, okay, I think it's about this amount. So give the gun, look the gun over, clean it up, that exact gun. When it's good to go and cleaned up and lubed back to new, I'm just going to do the exact same thing to it again. I did that a second cycle that day. I just kept shooting it until it got to kind of where it was like sluggish, and I felt like lubrication needed to be added. And then, hey, was that the same point as the first time? It was. Let's talk about it. Let's try a different pistol. Let's try the other prototype pistol with us. Does that go to the same point? Which it did. So it's kind of fun just getting to pick anything I want to for that day and then just nerd out about the details. For example, one day we had a magazine testing day where it wasn't like they were getting ready to sign on the dotted line and I ran at the last minute. It was like, no, don't sign. But they were kind of leaning towards one vendor for sourcing the magazines. There was a few different options. And I made my case why I would not pick that specific one. It'll be fun to talk about this more in the future. But just trying through all the different magazines, loading them, putting the gun to capacity, so chambered with a full magazine, completely plussed up. How does it behave for the first shot or second shot or to slide lock? What about a different magazine, seating them? All that kind of fun stuff. So just spending a day trying a bunch of different magazines and then talking through why you should or shouldn't use one. So again, it was just fun to have. It was very flattering that they were interested in what I have to say. So the other part is just unlimited ammo to me of any variety I wanted. So I'd shoot critical duty, gold dot, ball ammo, NATO stuff, or just Super Vel remanufactured. Really, really light stuff. The batch of stuff they got is like 126 power factor-ish. So it's like sometimes the brass barely kind of dribbles out of the gun. So good just to have a wide variety of ammo for how hard the primer is, it hits, how much the gun cycles, the ejection patterns, all that kind of stuff. So I've had a quite fun time just getting to test and weigh in my 2 cents, like I said, throughout the last year or so, maybe a little bit more. I think that's all I probably should say for now. I've got more stuff I thought about saying, but I better not. But I have a prototype pistol that I've been shooting and will be shooting. And I'll have some content ready. Whenever I can talk about it online, I will. But it'll be the end of December. It'll be when it's announced. And then whatever time after that, there'll be pistols for purchase available. And like I said, the SHOT Show business and all that kind of stuff. But at any rate, I've had a fun time just testing, shooting, and throwing in my 2 cents about why I think how things should be set up or fitting your hand or, all that kind of junk. So appreciate you watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that nonsense. If you have any questions, drop it below. Maybe not necessarily related to this topic, but any other question or shooting-related topic you'd like me to talk about. If it's something easy to answer, I'll just type out a sentence or two. Otherwise, if it takes a more detailed answer, I'll just screen cap it, and then I'll make a full video talking about it. So, appreciate you watching. Have a good day.